now soon we'll begin our next session, which is titled Pursuing Liberal Arts at Ashoka University. So you've just heard that Ashoka University is one of those colleges that do accept an SAT score, and it's one of the leading and topmost liberal arts universities, not only in India, but in entire Asia. So I'm really excited to welcome our next guest speaker, that is Ms. Madhurima Ray. She'll be joining soon, and then we will be soon beginning the session. So in this particular session, we'll be discussing about what exactly is the liberal arts curriculum, how does Ashoka University deliver it, and what are the other aspects that make Ashoka University such a preferred choice among Indian students and parents. So we have Ms. Madhurima Ray. She has joined us. I'll be taking this opportunity to introduce her. So she is an assistant director at present for outreach at Ashoka University. She has over 13 years of experience in business development. She started her professional journey with large corporates like GE and Wipro. More recently, she has worked in the education sector with the prestigious Indian School of Business, as well as organizations like Oak Ridge Group of Schools and other edtech startups. She has successfully forged strategic partnerships and alliances with Fortune 500 companies, global universities, and government bodies. She completely aligns with the vision of Ashoka to help students become well-rounded individuals who can think critically about issues from multiple perspectives, communicate effectively, and become leaders with a commitment to public service. Joining her, we have Ashwin Menon, who is a student at Ashoka University. Thank you so much, Ms. Madhurima and Ashwin, for being our speakers for this keynote session today. We are really excited and looking forward to hear from you at Ignite 2021. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Prachi, for giving us this opportunity to talk about liberal arts at Ashoka University, and we'll try our best to give a brief overview considering the time. And yes, we would expect questions, and we would love to take up the questions or anything beyond certain the time. We would request the audience to mail it to us, or they can post the questions to all of you. So yes, to start with, I have Ashwin with me. Like you have already said, he is pursuing his major in international relations and history at Ashoka. So he will be joining with me in the session, and he will share his perspective as well, because the intention is, when the student tells their story, it makes a lot of sense and most of the audience will relate to it. So, when we talk about liberal arts education, what is an academic education in Ashoka is like? So if you are here, chances are that you're associated with the phrase liberal education. So what is liberal education? The word liberal comes from a Latin word, liber, meaning free. And liberal education is associated with radical idea in Indian context. So Indian students should be free to choose their course of studies and not given cookie cutter education, or they are streamed into passing a cutoff. Once admitted in Ashoka, students undergo a process to liberal exposure to a variety of subjects that covers the entire spectrum from humanities to arts, through social sciences, natural sciences. And many people think that, there's a myth. In fact, I should say that, it's all about arts, which is not the truth. The truth is something else. So here at Ashoka, we have a robust science program that is importantly in dialogue with social sciences, arts, and humanities. And that makes liberal arts distinctive. India, it is taught in silos or any specific disciplines whenever we talk about the linear education in India. But Ashoka, in contrast, emphasizes interdisciplinary approach. And it's really important that we feel that student within any one subject specialization, we help them to educate, we help the education gets oxygenated by multiple perspectives that cross the entire spectrum from the humanities to sciences. The big advantage of this approach is that it allows not only for depth in a specific field, but also breadth. So it's absolutely crucial to educate the next generation in a way to allow to be versatile and flexible across discipline. By inviting people in, economics, and also have familiarity in English, history as well, and help them walk out with some understanding of anthropology or sociology is the unique thing about Ashoka. And in its truest sense, it is the combination of these natural sciences, which I'm talking about the 5 pillars that we believe in. the freedom to choose, study of natural sciences, interdisciplinary approach, which allows breadth and depth, and definitely the combination of these sciences and humanities and the interdisciplinary approach to learning is what helps you develop 21st century skills, mainly leadership, cognitive development, critical thinking, and overall it makes you a well-rounded individual. So, moving on, when we talk about Ashoka, the main thing, it comes into our, the most important part, the integral part of Ashoka is the founders and the faculty. So, before I would like to show you one of the Ashokas, most of the founders, what they have in their mind. But before that, I would like to share that, we have eminent philanthropic visioned founders, which has snowballed into 150 now. It started with Ashish Dhawan, who is the founder of Central Foundation Square. We have Pramod Sinha, the founder of ISB as well. We have Sandeep Bikhchandani, you all know his name in the industry as well. And we have some more eminent founders like Vineet Gupta of Jambore's Education. So these are the eminent luminaries who actually quickly snowballed into more than 150 founders. And they joined the hands of the faculty, and 80% of the faculty are Indians, but from the international and Ivy League universities. So I would request Ashwin to please play the video, which will actually showcase and give you a brief understanding what is the vision of Ashoka's founders and the faculty.
For students here in India is that simply there is nothing like this in India. If you wanted an education like this, you would typically have to go abroad.
We currently have almost 50 founders of Ashoka University. Several of them are first-generation entrepreneurs such as Sanjeev Bikhchandani, Deep Kalra, Dilip Sangvi, etc. And we also have some members of older business families like Puneet Dalmia, Ravi Jhunjhunwala, and many others.
Well, the Ashoka campus is really very distinctive. It's probably been built with the same amount of passion that the university itself.
Ashoka University grew out of a general dissatisfaction with the state of education in India. The belief of the founders, and this is one of the abiding principles on which Ashoka is built, is that the prevailing Indian education system teaches students to write answers, but it does not teach students to ask questions.
Our faculty and academic council are absolutely top-notch academics who've studied, who've taught, who've been at some of the top universities of the world. And finally, the partnerships that we have with universities such as University of Pennsylvania, University of Michigan, University of California, Berkeley, King's College in London, Sciences Po in Paris. These bring best practices to Ashoka as well.
So it broadens you, it provides you a framework, it links you to the past and provides you the tools for the future. And so I think it's an excellent kind of education. So I think it's a great step forward, and I salute Ashoka for making it work.
Well, Ashoka, I think, is an inspiration, and I think it will be a model for universities. Ashoka will teach people about making a life. So I'm a great fan of Ashoka.
One other unique aspect of Ashoka is the financial model and the inclusive nature financially. There is no student who doesn't attend Ashoka because he cannot afford it. We are generous of financial aid. Admission is on merit. Scholarships are on need. And a large number of students are already on scholarships.
So when Sanjeev Bikhchandani introduced the idea of Ashoka University to me, it clicked at once. And I was just delighted that we would be able to set up a university that can compete with the best in the world, have the best faculty, have the best facilities. We would love for you to come and join hands with us. We need more people. We definitely need ideas. We also need money, because this is, at the end of the day, a philanthropic effort.
We need your support to build one of the finest universities for India and for the world. This is a unique opportunity to come in at the founding of a Harvard or Yale. You'll never get this opportunity again in India.
Thank you. Thank you. So these founders came together to address this gap in this higher education space in India by building a liberal arts and sciences university of global academic excellence. And all of them have a shared vision of philanthropy. So that philanthropy is coded into the very DNA of Ashoka University. And this is also in the recognition of the fact, that brilliance and aptitude don't come from only one section of society. So that's how all of these eminent founders came together and, made a difference in the education world. So now we will be moving ahead and talking about what makes Ashoka unique. So like it was already been portrayed, it has been already told by these founders that yes, at Ashoka, we believe that some of the things that we believe that we are very unique about, we believe in the concept of explore before you choose. So we have set up foundation courses which allows you to explore what really you would like to study. You have the opportunity to learn from the best, the best of faculty, we have brilliant faculty at Ashoka, and 175 faculty and 135 are amongst them 135 are permanent faculty. And the rest of the visiting faculty, they're all PhDs from all the really renowned Ivy League universities of the world. And there is a concept that you look beyond the rote learning at Ashoka. So that's pretty important. Are you not to learn by heart and reproduce on an examination paper, but you really understand the issue, and it's very, very in-depth learning. And like Professor Rudrangshu Mukherjee mentioned that, you are learned to ask questions. You learn to think critically, okay, just not going by the theories and the conceptions, right? So that's how it makes it very unique. And we are a world-class education which has been made affordable to all through the unique financial aid policy, which makes this extremely affordable for students who are from low economic background. We give them an opportunity to be part of the Ashoka learning pedagogy, the learning journey based on their merits. And definitely if they're outstanding student, we go extra mile to get those students on board and give 100% financial aid. However, we do not have any scholarships. So more than the grades and diverse and vibrant student body. So admission process is very different from the rest, as it is beyond cutoffs. And it's just not your grades, it's more than the grades that makes a difference. It the diverse environment student body that we have in our campus, it is the constituent of students across the globe. And we have the best faculty, the best, the best support system, the best CDO, the career development office. We have come with the most experts, luminaries to support the student and help them grow in their learning journey. And definitely this helps them to launchpad for you to become a well-rounded and an empathetic leader. So that's the unique about Ashoka. So when we talk about leadership, we just cannot ignore, we have at the helm of the leadership, we have the Vice Chancellor, the Chancellor of the university, Professor Rudrangshu Mukherjee, and he's a very acclaimed historian in his own right. And he continues to teach history in the classroom. Professor Malvika Sharkar, she is the Vice Chancellor. She was pivotal in helping to transition Presidency College into a full-fledged university. And she was also the head of the Department of the English at Jennifer University as well. So this is what we have at the helm of the leadership. So now we come to the undergrad program. So the undergrad program at Ashoka offers you the honors, the BSc honors and the BA honors, and it's strictly under the mandate of the UGC program, the University Grant Commission of India. It needs to have one degree. So that's how it has been designed. Like you can see, the first we'll be talking about the foundation courses, major and minor courses, co-curricular courses, and the postgraduate diploma in advanced studies and research, which is an optional fourth year. If any student wants to continue to have 16 years of education and is willing to pursue master's or PhD abroad, especially in US and all, then this program really comes handy. So moving on from there, Yes, now we talk about the foundation courses. These actually the essence of the foundation courses is to get variety of perspectives across disciplines, across subjects and topics which need to be acquainted for the student when they join Ashoka. And it has been made mandatory for them to attend all these courses, which essentially focus them in the first semester, and then you have 3 years to complete them. So every student at Ashoka will have to do these 9 foundation courses before they graduate. And you have subjects ranging from philosophy to economics, and these foundation courses form the basis of liberal education. This is actually also leads to the gateway courses of few of the disciplines where you can take up the gateway courses, which will help you to decide that what relevant disciplines you want to major in at Ashoka. Okay, coming to majors, minors, and co-curriculars. So here you have 20 different majors in the column 1, which you can see. The pure majors and interdisciplinary majors, minors, co-curriculars, and there are around 200 combination and permutations. But to be very careful about one thing, computer science, economics, mathematics, and physics, like you can see the asterisk marks, you need to have maths in your 11th and 12th. Okay, so your subject combinations could be major in computer science with a minor in history, or a major in English with a minor in performing arts. Or you could take up an interdisciplinary major like computer science and mathematics and do a minor into your entrepreneurship if you are also interested in business. So there are over 200 such permutations and combinations for students to curate their academic journey. And during this journey, you will have academic mentors, teaching assistants, and who will also be able to guide you through this entire journey. I'll take a pause over here, and I want to bring in Ashwin over here, and I have a question for him. Ashwin, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Ashwin. See, just one quick question, how was your transition from high school to the liberal education at Ashoka? So what made you a decision, how did you come to a decision that, yes, you would be interested in international relations and history, considering that, it is considering the concept of liberal education in Ashoka is that you explore to choose. So how you define that?
So the transition for me from school to college was completely different because I studied science. I studied physics, chemistry, and maths in school, but then I transitioned to social sciences in college. So what that has to do is extremely tied together with the major and minor program that Ashoka follows. So the major and minor program is what Ashokan experience basically revolves around. And you usually declare your majors during your third semesters, and minor you can change throughout the year, throughout the length of the course. So while normal majors are about 12 to 13 courses, and interdisciplinary majors are about 16 courses, while minors are 6 courses. Now, this is where things are a bit different. So all the different streams in Ashoka, as ma'am mentioned, has gateway courses. So they give you an introduction, like their basic level courses, which give you an introduction into the basic concepts of every single stream that you wish to pursue. But here, each of these you can take throughout your semesters, you can take different levels of courses as well. So you're not always jumping into a very difficult course. We have course levels ranging from 100 level all to 400 levels, which, as you may have guessed, it's all based on different difficulty levels. So every single semester we have about 7 to 8 courses to pick from the same exact stream. So what happens here? So having 7 to 8 courses per semester gives you an option to not make your entire course every semester monotonous. You get a different variety, a different combination of courses every single semester. So you have, for example, I'll give an example. I had a history course. I had 2 history courses in my last semester. One of them was History of India, History of India 3, and I also had World of War in South Asia. History of India 3 focused on the British Raj, while the World of War in South Asia focused on invaders in ancient India. So what I was able to do was I was able to combine the information from both the different types of courses. Even though they're completely different, they still have a correlation and they have some kind of basis that we can work on, which furthers their understanding even more in a situation where we might not have that option if the syllabus was rigid. And yeah, so as I said, they focus on different aspects of the same side of the coin. So so I could learn about cultural reforms, I could learn about policy reforms at a greater depth that I would not have been able to do otherwise. So yeah, over to you, Madhurima.
Yeah, thank you, Ashwin. So, to summarize, I'll just quickly, like Ashwin has already given you a very detailed information, but I'm sure, it will be a little overwhelming because you might feel it a little complex at this time, but yes, if you have any questions, we can answer at the end of the session. But however, having said that, a major is an area of specialization that students at Ashoka have to declare in their third semester. So it generally comprises of 12 courses, out of which 4 to 6 courses, depending on the department, are mandatory. And the remaining number of courses can be chosen amongst the variety of elective courses that Ashoka faculty offers. So that's how it's major. And a minor is a secondary focus of study in addition to a major. So unlike a major, a minor requires 6 courses to be completed. And out of these, again, depending on the department, 2 to 3 courses are mandatory. So that's the way how the major and minor is defined. And interdisciplinary major, like he said, about 16 courses, unlike the major 12 courses. So I'm sure that you also have with, does interdisciplinary major has any significant over major? So it doesn't happen like that. Any combination that you take is equally significant. Okay, so yes. So moving on from there, we will be quickly touching upon the 4th year Ashoka Scholars Program. It's a very interesting program because like I said earlier, that if you want to pursue 16 years of education, which is usually required when you apply for US for Masters or PhD, then this program comes very handy. The most popular thing to do in the 4th year is to do the advanced major. And the advanced major is basically where the students delve deeper into deeper research alongside the PhD students. They can work as teaching assistants or teaching fellows and teach juniors in the same department. And they can also be working on a capstone pieces or research. And the biggest advantage of this, that if your paper has a good academic standing and you can actually bypass the masters altogether and get accepted into a fully funded PhD program at Oxford, Harvard, or LSE, which is where some of our students have actually managed to go. So this is something very, and most of the students who are really outstanding, they go for this 4th year program, and they have got great opportunities to work in few of the multinational companies, the Fortune 500 companies, and gone for higher studies, higher education with our very eminent higher education partners that we have. Yes. Moving on to the most important part is the holistic admissions. Like we said, the unique part of Ashoka is that, we don't believe in cutoffs, and most of the students, all the students are given equal importance, and we do assess and evaluate, do a very holistic assessment of the entire application or the admission process. So the stages are divided into 4, like you can see, the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. The stage 1 comprises of application and assessments. What does it include? The academic scores, which we will be evaluating across your 10th, 11th, and 12th scores. And you can always predict your scores if you don't have your final scores. SAT, SAT scores are not mandatory, but if you have, you can submit the scores. Emphasis will be given on your personal essays, letter of recommendations, and non-academic engagement means your profile, which should have, you should display your leadership skills. You can have your voluntary experience. If at all, if you have any short-term, internship program, that will also be an added advantage. But however, it's not mandatory to have an internship because Ashoka do have a great, robust internship program. So these are the very critical points when it comes to application and assessments. We have Ashoka aptitude assessment that is mandatory. And you can actually look up to the sample papers, which is mentioned in the website. You will get an idea that what exactly these kind of assessment comprise of. On the spot essay is also mandatory. And if you get through this round, and you will be moved to the second round, and you'll be going through the panel interview. And once you get shortlisted for the panel interview, you will be getting the admission decision in the form of a confirmed offer, conditional offer, waitlist, referral of decision, or denial of admission. For instance, if you get a confirmed admission offer, then you can apply for a financial aid depending on your economic background and also depending on your merits. So there is a separate department who takes care of it, and if you have any questions, we can always direct you to that department for detailed information. So this is what is admission all about. Moving on to a quick snapshot on the admissions timeline. However, we have not mentioned the dates because we will be announcing the dates shortly. But to just to give you a quick run down, we have round fours. We have 4 rounds, and in fact, each round is unique, and it doesn't mean that round 1 is given more preference than the round 2. It doesn't happen like that over here, and you can only apply once within the 4 rounds. You cannot apply twice. And our applications open from the month of October. So you can take a snapshot. However, if we get the dates and all, we will be announcing it. You can see it on the website itself. Okay, coming on to the interesting part is the summer and semester abroad programs. I want to bring in Ashwin here and let him enlighten us with the unique stuff. I mean, unique things about summer and semester abroad programs, that how we do it at Ashoka and how are we leveraging our partnership with the Ivy League universities. Over to you, Ashwin.
Thank you for the question. So while Ashoka has a vast range of foreign professors and international students, it is still very much Indian at heart. And sometimes students want a little bit extra, a little bit push out of their comfort zone, a chance to experience something completely different in terms of culture and academics. So that is where the summer semester abroad program comes in. It provides students with an opportunity to go abroad and receive that extra little bit of exposure that they need to make sure that they get that leg up. Considering the vast number of colleges Ashoka is partnered with, students are able to pick and choose the college they wish to go to. And this kind of opportunity gives them a deep insight into the problem solving and communication attributes that they wish to develop. And in addition to the already vastly different methods of approaching the coursework. Also, this program can be availed post their first year and is subject to various grade requirements. So what this gives them is an added bonus whether it comes to their applications for further studies or whether it comes to job applications, all of this, and also growing as a person as in itself, which Ashoka finds extremely important as a key part of its curriculum, communication skills, problem solving skills, growth as a person itself. That is what we gain mostly from the summer semester abroad program. And Ashoka helps us throughout the process and makes it extremely smooth so people do not have to worry about which college they're going to get because they're able to freely choose.
Absolutely, Ashwin. Thank you so much for sharing that insights, and just to add on to that, actually it boosts your profile a lot. When you are able to go through the summer and semester abroad programs, it definitely gives you a diversity pick on your profile and also enables you, when you go for your placements and all, this actually boosts up your profile and makes you more employable. So this is something very, very key about Ashoka. So moving on from there, we will be touching upon the fees and the need-based financial aid, and as a quick snapshot on the class of 2023. So a corpus amount of 250 crores have been committed at financial aid to Ashoka. And so we have close to 42% of the undergrad students on campus who are on financial aid. And so you can apply for this aid all with a confirmed decision offer and can apply for the aid, which you can benefit the most. And generally it is with the middle income and the lower income brackets. So they are likeliest to benefit from this aid. So you have any question regarding this, you can definitely let us know offline. So yes, full scholarship 102, you can see 6.3% of students with family income less than ₹2 lakhs and 6% are the first generation college goers. So this is the, the statistics of the class of 2023, and the fees is 9.87 lakh per annum. So yes, now we come to the interesting part, the campus life. So, obviously, I mean, when we talk about campus life is the most interesting part of a student's journey. And how could I not invite Ashwin over here and give us a snapshot of campus life at Ashoka? Over to you, Ashwin.
So you guys already seen a little bit of campus from the videos that you've seen, but campus is actually way bigger than that. We've expanded since that video was made. To another extremely large library as well, and also another grounds and play area and open spaces. So we'll go step by step. The first one is obviously the dorm rooms, which everyone's curious about. So you'll be sharing a room with one other person. Obviously, right now during COVID, we have taken certain we've been careful, and we've put only one person per room, and we've isolated people to keep people safe, to initiate that process of bringing people back on campus. And they are of course fully air conditioned, and they also, another thing that people are very concerned about nowadays is security. The camp And because we're in Sonipat, people have not heard about Sonipat, so everyone's wondering what is up with the area of campus. It is extremely safe. We have 24-hour security. The campus is always under guard. There's security on duty all the time. Now, round the clock access to first aid and medical assistance. This is extremely important. Again, we have an ambulance 24 hours available. This is so that we can take people to specialty hospital, which is very nearby, so that students can get medical care if they cannot give it on campus itself. We also have nurses and doctors available 24/7 on campus. Also, common areas and lounges are extremely important in Ashokan life, because this is where students live 90% of their Ashokan life. You interact with other students, interact with faculty sometimes. You talk, you watch movies, you play games, you enjoy your life in the common areas. And different residence halls, which is interesting to note, have different types of lounges. So you may have a gaming lounge, you have a movie area in another residence hall, or you may have a normal lounge with lots of plush sofas in another one. Everything to make sure that you are never bored of one area and you can keep finding new areas. And also there's a productive space in right above the cafeteria, where you have a huge amount of space, where you have different if you want the peace and quiet and you want some silence, you have space for that as well. Other services, the laundry, we have it twice a week. You can give a laundry, you can get it done within I think about 24 articles of clothing, and you can get it back within 2 days, which is extremely handy for a college student. And also the documentation center, tuck shop, and the stationery shop are all open from morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. And also you have fresh fruits coming in once every week, so you can stock up every week. Also, for people who like eating healthy, you have options like healthy eating for you have your protein shakes, protein bars, and everything readily available on campus, so you don't have to worry about them. Oh, and we also have a fully equipped salon on campus, so you don't have to worry about that as well. Now, clubs and societies is another extremely important part of Ashokan life, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with your in your classes, but you're going to spend probably even more time in your clubs and societies. This is where a lot of Ashokan growth, the communication, the ice breaking, everything happens. So I'm part of the Edict, which is the student newspaper in Ashoka. You must have heard about it nowadays or recently the news, and it's extremely eye-opening in a lot of ways, where you grow as a person because you've never seen a lot of perspectives that a lot of students bring in Ashoka. And that's when you realize and you find your voice. Like I found my writing voice while working with the Edict. And you have if you on your screen you see Kirdar, who are a theater society. They put on shows every week, and it's extremely comforting to watch, because you see a lot of different faces every single time, and you're never sure what's going to happen. And also if you are interested in sports, and you're worried about oh my god, liberal arts people are not that into sports, that's not true. Sports is a very important aspect of Ashokan culture. We have a fully equipped gym that you can use 24/7. Squash courts, badminton courts, basketball courts, cricket, football, volleyball courts are all open 24/7. We have indoor and outdoor basketball courts. I think we have at least 4 of them. We have a swimming pool, which is obviously subject to climate conditions, but otherwise it's also open for general use. We have a shooting range, which is also open throughout most of the day. And we also have trainers for everything, working at least till 5 o'clock every day. So unless, of course, there's the day where there's co-curricular activities, in which case we have it from 7 to 8. And yes, we also have sports teams. We have lots of variety of sports teams, including one for ultimate frisbee. So if people feel are into that, we have an option for that as well. The ultimate frisbee team is very well known in the Delhi circles. And we the fitness is another important part of Ashoka. So you will see people in the gym from 5 a.m. all the way up to like 12 a.m. back the next morning. So it's always open, but also the additional to that, all the food areas in Ashoka cater to your needs in when it comes to sports and fitness. So you do not have to worry about your diet. You do not have to worry about what you're eating, and if you may or may not be able to cater to your food needs. Especially if people are not familiar with North Indian food as well, you have option for South Indian food. You don't have to worry about your food options. That being said, if you want to have some fun with your food, also Ashoka is a great place to have. You have lots of options throughout campus. Here and there, we even have a subway. But keeping that in mind, lastly, how connected are we to Delhi? We are extremely connected to Delhi because we have shuttle buses going every single day from the main city in Delhi, that's Jahangirpuri, that's the one of the metro stations near the border, all the way back to campus directly. So you do not have to, you do not have to cab or anything like that. You can go straight from the last metro station all the way to college directly. There are shuttle buses, I think, every 1 hour on the weekdays and every 3 hours on the weekends. So yes, that's all for all the facilities in campus life.
Thank you, Ashwin. That was quite in detail. So moving on, we'll be quickly give a glance on placements because I can see we have a time constraint. So I'll quickly walk you through the placements and the career opportunities after Ashoka. So, when we talk about placements, the beauty of the liberal education at Ashoka is that you don't need to sit only on a certain type of organization because you have a certain type of major or a certain degree, right? So now looking at the placement statistics, you can see that there are 560 number of students have been placed so far, and 280 plus, actually it's 280 plus companies on campus as till date. I'm giving you some latest inputs, and 10.5 lakhs per annum is the median salary and 25 lakh per annum for highest salary offered. But there is something a great thing has happened very recently in 2021 batch. We have a student, Anish Garg. He majored in CS. He was a computer science major and he received an offer from Google with a CTC of rupees 33 lakhs per annum and is the highest offer at Ashoka till date. So, here are the numbers which are changing and evolving and we are getting there. And it's so, I feel so proud to, share this information that the current status of the students of 2021 batch, the 90 organizations have already completed hiring from Ashoka and the 221 students have been placed. So we have interviews with 61 organizations are in process and 228 organizations have already participated during this placement cycle and we are in talks with more. So these are the present status of placements at Ashoka. And we can see there are varied range of marquee recruiters who come on campus, talking about different sectors, across sectors from banking to technology to research media, digital and startups. And all of these organizations that we have put out here have hired students from Ashoka as well. So I would like to share a few examples, in terms of we have a myth that, liberal education, what will be my future? Where do I go? What are the companies that who would hire us? So, we have students who have majored in psychology or sociology have been hired by Google. We have students from sociology who has gone into A.T. Kearney and Bain and Company in most of the leading consultants. So there is no such restrictions or, there is no such, one need not have this preconceived notions that, you have to be from a certain discipline to be in a certain company. It doesn't work like that at Ashoka. You are free to apply to any companies at Ashoka. Okay, so I would like to share, what the placements at Ashoka University, what the recruiters have to speak about the placements at Ashoka.
It's been a pleasure for McKinsey to hire from Ashoka University. The quality of students that we have looked at are truly distinctive. The ones that have got offers have been made to and have joined our office have had great impact when they've been here and have moved on to build their careers.
What we found is that Ashoka students have a very good blend of an understanding of their subject, but also a very broad and global outlook. also an intent to make a difference in society, and we feel that they are quite grounded and world-wise.
TechnoServe being a hardcore implementation-focused organization in India requires people who not only bring technical skills, but are also willing to put in efforts on the ground, working closely with communities.
They were students when we interacted first with them. They were very, very well aware of the market scenarios. They were talking market. They were aware of what my organization does and the latest news around the organization. I saw students actually behaving the way we would want our employees to behave in the official environment.
What really helped us make our choice easy was, again, how they came across with concepts to how they could apply as they went ahead.
Their thought process and how they structure themselves is really amazing, because it's not just about them thinking about a particular job or anything like that, but they have like a structural thought process about each and every problem in their life.
We've now hired, I think, about 6 or 7 people from Ashoka over the last 3 years. Some of these have already turned out to be very, very strong performers in the organizations, and the others are on their way. So overall, we've been very happy with the quality of people we've got from Ashoka.
They have brought in a lot of value to the functions and the departments they have worked with. I think to an extent that people who are doing well, they are being sought by various departments to really come and work for them.
The one thing Ashoka students definitely bring is a lot of commitment to their work. They're very hardworking.
They are deeply analytical, and they have a ingrained ability to get into the customer mind.
Something that stands out is their ability to connect the dots, to be able to conceptualize from scratch, to be able to work with limited supervision. I think I've also seen them being able to influence stakeholders way higher in experience and you know, leaders in their fields.
It's been really fantastic looking at the real mix of students and the energies that they brought.
It's very dynamic. The interactions are always very good, very interactive, and we enjoy the hiring process.
It's one of the most collaborative institutes when it comes to facilitating the recruiters to make sure we get the quality students. We are able to see the best of students. The students are able to perform at their best during the interviews, which in any case is a great outcome when we hire them year on year.
Thank you, Ashwin. So moving on from there, we will be quickly show you these are the universities of higher studies after Ashoka. This is where you get an opportunity to study, whether it's University of Oxford, Cornell University, Emory, ISB, NUS, Chicago, University of Chicago, New York University, mostly the Ivy Leagues of the world. Yes. Now quickly talking about, when we are talking about the placements, who are the people behind it? It's the Career Development Office. The Career Development Office has come out with great planning activities, and they have enabled every student to go through upskilling them into particular fields, which is very critical in their professional journey. And they ensure that they do it through different sessions and workshops and different hand-holding and mentoring sessions. And the key areas which is focused, during their entire journey of the play until they have the final placements are the business communications, resume building, building leadership and professional skills, interviewing skills, business analytics, Excel and PowerPoint, and case studies. So Ashoka University founders also spent equal amount of time and engaging with the student and coaching them and help them navigate from their vision of the university, their entire journey of learning at university and how they integrate into their professional journey. So most of them have a great, interaction and engagement. Mostly it happens with the founders, namely Pramod Sinha, Vineet Gupta, Ashish Dhawan, or Aditya Ghosh. And we have plenty more. And we also conduct a CDO speaker series, and where we enable the the industry experts to come on campus and interact with the students in the form of placement talks, or sharing their knowledge and experience. And also the students get an opportunity to walk up to these leaders and engage with them and understand whether how their profile fits best for their organization and how they can prepare and mold themselves. So these are a couple of things which we do, and there are a lot of other process which we cannot cover in such a short time over here. But yes, if you have any questions, we can definitely walk you through. So quickly, this is the last slide of our session. We would like to show you what actually happens to a student after Ashoka. So we have Priya Rathore. She has done her BA in political science, and she was hired by she as an analyst at McKinsey. So she had a strong foundation in quantitative knowledge. She will be sharing her placement journey and what she did after Ashoka. So a glimpse of that, and after that we are ready to take question and answers.
Hi, I'm Priya. I'm a fourth-year student at Ashoka University. I majored in political science, and I chose to stay on for a fourth year. I spent my fourth year studying classes I didn't have the chance to take earlier. So I studied statistics, entrepreneurship, and psychology. I will be joining McKinsey & Company as a business analyst. The way that placement works at Ashoka is typically 100 to 200 organizations recruit. These organizations, they like to come and visit campus. They want to interact with students and meet faculty and this leadership at Ashoka. This gives them a good sense of what kind of roles liberal arts students can take on within their organizations. After this, we get to apply for these organizations, and candidates that are selected get to interview with these companies. I think more than any one class or any program, it's the emphasis that Ashoka gives to effective communication. So whether you're in your first year or your fourth year, over the 4 years, you will be asked to submit essays, write a research proposal, lead a discussion in class, make presentations, or some combination of these. So for me, it was actually in a philosophy class that I took in my first year that we learned how to use logic to structure arguments and reason. And I think that skill was not only transferable to other classes and my time at Ashoka, but even during my interview process, where it was really important to use that structured approach to break down cases and to build problems. I think organizations look for the impact that a student or a candidate has in any environment they've been in. So whether you were in a sports team, or whether you took up an internship, or whether it was a personal project that you worked on, the main question they're going to ask you is, what was your contribution? Did you meet the goals that you set out to? Were you active? Did you take the extra initiative? So I think the best advice that I can give to any student would be, either if you're an incoming freshman or if you've already been at Ashoka, is to actively contribute to whatever team you're a part of.
Thank you so much. And that's the end of our presentation. And I hope it was informative. But however, if you have any questions, we will take it up. Or else you can write to us. The email ID is displayed here with the phone number. And anytime you have any questions pertaining to the undergrad program or anything beyond that, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Madhurima and Ashwin. This was truly an informative session. We really came to know about all the unique aspects of liberal arts education and how Ashoka delivers it so effectively. So it was really great to have the both of you and know more about Ashoka University. And to all the attendees, if you have any questions, please feel free to write to the email that you can see on your screen right now. Or alternatively, you can reach out to any of us at EduGoals through the various emails that we've been sharing in the chat box, and we'll be happy to put you in touch with the team at Ashoka. Thank you so much to Ms. Madhurima and Ashwin for sparing your time and joining us for Ignite 2021. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prachi. Thank you so much for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, friends, this was an interactive session with the team at Ashoka University to know more about how do they deliver the liberal arts curriculum.